going back to getting started, do you think you could have in any way jumped in kind of cold and done the 16 and the 24 unit? Or do you feel like the way that you got your learning and cut your teeth, so to speak, was the best path for you?
Yeah, so the way I first got involved in multifamily was I met John through his cousin, and we actually partnered on some smaller stuff first. So when I said I co-GP'd 100 units, that was like we worked on a 18 unit, a 17 unit in Northern Kentucky, and then an 82 unit down here in Jacksonville. That was the first deal we actually bought down here, and that's how we actually ended up getting into the Jacksonville and the Florida markets. Um, so I kind of got entered on the side, but even early on, you know, I knew that leveraging somebody else's experience was going to be huge and was going to allow me to learn quicker. Going back to college sports, like you touched on, I probably really wasn't a Division I athlete going into it. Like I was a glorified walk on basically at the time, but
Mhm.
I know from like the day I started to the day, the last kick the ball there, my growth was so much higher because I was constantly surrounded by better players, right? If there was 25 people on the roster in the first year, I was probably near 20-ish, give or take, right? So it was the same concept for me where I was like, I'd rather go be out of my element a little bit, surround myself with people that know what they're doing and allow me to learn and are willing to kind of coach me up. So that's why, wanted to work with John on the smaller stuff and kind of there's a transition point where at the time I was working with my mom and my cousin as well. And my cousin kind of was backing away and my mom was actually moving to Florida. So she wasn't going to be locally. And as they were stepping away, it was kind of going to be like, okay, do I try to figure this out on my own when I didn't have a ton of money and wasn't making a lot of money, was still working full time? Or do I just change jobs, so to speak, and go work for Toro, have money coming in and income as well as, get educated? And for me, it was a pretty easy decision.
Yeah, like I'm curious your comment on this. I'm at the point where I'm just more of a believer, especially in the bigger not even bigger, the smaller multifamily for you, but let's say anything like 10 to 50 units, you can jump in, but I feel like it's so much cleaner to invest as a limited partner by just giving someone your money and learning kind of behind the scenes, or just putting ego aside and becoming an
Mhm.
intern or becoming a paid employee and learning the full behind the scenes. Like, you know this when we were in that mastermind with me, you, and Ryan, like I was just reaching out to multifamily syndicators, like making selfie videos of myself saying like, let me cut your grass, let me like do your analysis, let me do your cold calling, like just to have a chance to get behind, because like there is so much that goes into it. Like not to scare anyone here, but like, and I don't want to scare anyone because there's so many ways to learn, like exactly what you did. Like you learned how every single thing
Mhm.
worked on huge deals, 300 unit deals, buying, acquiring, selling, acquisition, like investor relationships. So that like even now, if you do a 16 or 24 unit, which we're going to get to, like I don't know that it feels easy, but at least you've done it before.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think one, it depends on, what's your prior skill set, right? If you were in construction, you worked property management, you worked for an engineer, if you have some sort of related experience you can carry over, you already have something as a foundation to go off. I knew literally jack shit about real estate until January 2016. And I joined Toro in August. So it was only several months of figuring it out and didn't really figure out a whole lot. So for me, it was like, I'm basically starting from scratch. It would be very tough to make things work without some help. So, just knowing myself and then also taking stock of, my situation and my knowledge base, I was like, I just felt it was the best decision. Plus, a big part of this at the end of the day is just, the confidence to pull the trigger. And at the time, I don't think I would have had the confidence to pull the trigger, right, wrong, or indifferent, right? You're always going to do deals that, you do better than expected, kind of how you expect, and then worse than you expect. It happens. Less education, it's probably going to be more risky, but I probably wouldn't have even had the, excuse me, the confidence to do it back then, on my own, or even with like, family member or friend or something like that. So, that gave me a lot of confidence to be able to move down and do this stuff. And yeah, my last role has given me an incredible amount of confidence to look at a deal and pull the trigger from the financial side, the asset management side, and things like that. Like the second deal, I put it under contract in 2 days and we closed in 3 weeks, which is incredibly short.
Mhm.
Normally we're closing in,
That's insane.
yeah, normally we're closing in like 60 days, if not, a little bit longer. But that's, the financial side of things. I felt ultra confident going into it for a couple of reasons. We can go into that. But like the property management and the construction side, the last 3-4 months have been a major learning curve for me. And, I knew that coming down, right? Like I knew I wasn't going to go work for a property management company or a construction company and learn that way. I was like, okay, this is where we've got the backing and we've got enough resources that I can figure it out one way or another, even if I make some mistakes, and I've already made mistakes. But, we have enough resources and wherewithal and now confidence that even with some mistakes, the deal's still going to work and perform and make sense. And, I have enough confidence that I'll just figure it out one way or another.